The following episode of Five-Sided Fables is intended for mature audiences. It contains adult language, graphic violence, and intense themes that may be distressing for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
A small, hurried imp darts through the air, wings flapping rapidly in a frantic rhythm. His red skin gleams in the dim light of Narzkuldra. The war-torn landscape stretched out below him, its scarred earth a patchwork of shattered ruins and destroyed infrastructures. The wind howls around him as he clutches a small, purple, luminescent flower bud, glowing faintly with an ethereal light. His eyes darting nervously as he glances back towards the tower. The distant silhouette of the large, no longer moving tower fades into the horizon, leaving only the darkened, blood-streaked skies above. The flower in his hands hums softly. He veers sharply, and Narzkuldra's barren wastelands fall away behind him. Ahead, a massive portal yawns, tall as a skyscraper, its swirling edges flashing with crackling energy. A vortex of orange and red beckons, the fabric of reality itself warping and bending around the edge of the portal, as if the very air is being torn apart. With a shrill call, he dives into the rift, the world around him spinning into chaos. The vibrant purple glow of the flower is only light that swirls in this void. Its illumination a stark contrast to the crushing darkness of the portal. The air is heavy, the scent of sulfur burning and brimstone thick in the nostrils as he plunges through. He emerges. The world changes in an instant. Gone is the war-torn expanse of Narzkuldra, replaced by the vast, fiery expanse of Avernus, the first layer of the Nine Hells. The sky above is a deep, sickly red, the sun blotted out by dark clouds rolling with endless thunder. Rivers of lava snake across war-torn battlefields and canyons, their fiery paths weaving through jagged cliffs and broken, charred ground. The imp dives lower, his wings cutting through the scorching air. Blasts of heat rise from the molten rivers below. The sound of distant screams echo across the expanse, tormented wails of the souls, lost in the infernal pit. A black, flat expanse stretches ahead, desolate and imposing. The spires of a jet-black citadel stands monument from the vast volcanic landscape. Dark clouds swirl ominously above it, streaked with sickly green lightning that cracks through the sky. The river Styx, an internal flow of black, viscous liquid on fire, cuts through the land like a massive highway, winding its way towards the citadel. Its surface is slick with the weight of countless souls, drifting the silent torment. Their faces frozen in internal scream, their forms barely visible beneath the oily red sheened surface. Imp slithers beneath the citadel's shadows. The citadel itself is a monolithic structure, its black stone covered in sizzling runes that hum with infernal energy. The lava flows freely from the ducts within the citadel's walls, spilling out of drains into the river of an endless cascade of molten blood and fire. The small imp's wings beat furiously as he flies into the black citadel, the massive dark iron gates clanging shut behind him with a resounding echo. Inside, the air is thick with the oppressive weight of infernal magic. The heat is nearly unbearable. The stone floors are cold, and yet beneath his wings, as he zips past towering walls of black onyx marble, their surface gleaming like polished obsidian. Red banners hang from tall, twisted columns that ripple gently in the sulfuric acid, their fabric stained with the colors of the damned. The interior of the citadel is imposing, tall. Soaring columns line the hallways, each one twisted and wrapped in dark, unholy designs that pulse with faint magical runes, glowing dimly in the low light. The high ceilings are lost in shadows, disappearing into an abyss above. The dim glow of lava from small, intricate vented ducts give the place an eerie, haunted glow. The imp darts faster through the great hall, his claws clutching the purple flower bud, which continue to glow faintly in the darkness. The sound of his wings echo through the long corridors as he flies past a massive archway. The stonework intricate and terrifying, the archway's top is adorned with a twisted gargoyle's face, their eyes hollow and menacing, their stone mouths frozen in twisted, eternal grins. Beyond the archway lies a small courtroom, a chamber of dark grandeur. The imp's heart races faster as he gets closer, the urgency of his mission intensifying. He flies faster now, drawn to the inner sanctum, where the true power resides. Past more columns, down on a side hall, and into a chamber of a lounge fit for a goddess. Its luxury in stark contrast to the rest of the citadel's jagged, harsh architecture. The room is dim, the shadows cascaded across a tall, beautiful woman, who lounges languidly upon a Scythian throne, her presence filling the room with an unshakable, dangerous grace. Her long, slick, black hair flows down her back, reaching the curve of her waist, shining like the deepest midnight. Each movement of her head sends the strands rippling like liquid darkness, her beauty enhanced by a dangerous aura. Her charcoal eyes gleam with a deep, unsettling light. Her smile, a Cheshire smile, twists from her lips wide and sharp, a predatory curve that speaks of cruel delight. Her body is sculpted with sinuous curves, every motion deliberate and fluid. The most striking feature is the scorpion tail coiled beside her, its long, segmented form gliding and twitching like a body of a cat ready to strike. The tail dances with a serpentine elegance, its barb sharp and deadly. She wears a little more than a thin, almost see-through veil of a silk robe that clings to her smooth, dark yellow skin, a hue that seems unnatural and otherworldly. The robe barely covers her, the delicate fabric shimmering faintly as it clings to her body. Her fingernails and toenails are black and claws, sharp and long, reminiscent of a predator's deadly grace. Her gaze shifts downward, and the faintest flicker of amusement dances in her eyes as she watches the scene unfold before her. At her feet, past the base of the steps, is a shallow pool of blood. The dark waters in it swirls and bubbles with slow, rising motion. It pulses rhythmically, as if breathing. The rippling blood thickens, and a single arm pierces through the surface. The hand, with a wet, sickening slap, presses onto the marble floor, pulling itself forward. Out of the surface continues to follow the arm, a shoulder, then the top of a head. The waters bubble up in a thick, rapid burst as form emerges from the depth, and the imp freezes midair, staring in horror. A bearded devil rises from the blood, its body slick with oily, dark ichor of the river Styx. Eyes wide with burning rage, his furious expression twists with recognition, fury flaring across his contorted face. His beard, matted and twisted, moves like a living thing as he drags himself from the pool, the glistening red water dripping from his frame. His skin slicked, his body burnt, injuries crack with little fire, remnants of his last demise. As he pulls himself free of the river's embrace, the devil gasps, inhaling the putrid air of Avernus. Not again. Not again. With every grunt of effort, the devil stumbles forward, his rage only growing as he stands fully, his broad shoulders rising with fury. The heat of his anger seems to boil the air around him as he glares at the woman on the throne, his fists clenched. She watches him rise, her eyes gleam with amusement, her smile widening like a cat that had caught a mouse. Another failed resurrection, she purrs. Her voice is a silken melody, but with a sharpness of a blade. Is this how you repay me, so eager to return to this endless cycle? The bearded devil snarls. I do not wish to be reborn from those waters again. Watches the devil for a moment, a soft laugh escaping her lips, like a sound filled with both amusement and disdain. How predictable. Her voice is dripping with this mock sympathy. You still don't understand, do you? You will never defeat Sovah without more power. And you, my little bird, are destined to be nothing more than my playthings, forever at my mercy. Her voice grows colder, more commanding. I control the outcome. The more you struggle, the more delicious it becomes. The bearded devil's fists clench tighter, his nostrils flaring, his stance widening as if to challenge her. I am no toy. I will... Before he can even finish his sentence, the woman's tail lashes out with a speed of a striking serpent. The barbed end of the tail pierces through the imp's small, fragile body, piercing with a sickening crack, the sharp tip driving deep into the creature's torso, past it, into the wall as he's impaled against black onyx, the stone cracking under the force of the strike. The imp's body jerks violently as a high-pitched scream escapes his lip. But it's cut short as the tail twists. The barbed point turns slowly into his flesh. The room is filled with the sound of bones snapping, the imp's life draining away as he is pinned to the wall. His body twitches in throes of his final moments. The demoness watches dispassionately as the imp's struggle fades, the glow in his eyes dimming. With a single smooth motion, she retracts her tail, pulling the imp's lifeless body from the wall and dropping it to the floor. The sound of torn flesh slaps the stone like a discarded wet rag. She rises from her throne, her eyes gleaming as if she steps over the fallen imp, her feet silent on the cold marble floor. She glances down at the purple flower bud that the imp had carried so desperately. She She reaches down, her long, sharp nails curling around the flower as she lifts it from the ground, her scorpion tail moving with a predatory grace that starts to coil around the bearded devil's shoulders, the barb pointed at his chin, pressed ever so slightly into his flesh. Her gaze shifts to the bearded devil, who stands stunned in silence, his fury replaced with a flickering of apprehension. Demoness's lips curl into a smile, her gaze locking with his. She steps toward him. The flower beneath 2 fingers is presented, as though it were an offering. She muses, her voice light and mocking, her eyes full of dark promise. Perhaps you would like a second chance. We now get to our stage. We find ourselves inside the tower, wearied, tired, emotionally and physically. Sovearis, just minutes ago, laid slain by an agent of the Court of Stars. The marble floor beneath your feet cold and scattered. Remnants of stone soldiers lie in twisted heaps nearby. Some parts have been shattered beyond recognition, others still clinging to some level of semblance of life from the battle of the night before. The blue hues of magical flames on sconces that litter the walls, that stretch upwards towards the tower, that shadows across this long, spiraling stone staircase. The air is thick with silence. Only the hum of arcane energy that flows through the cobblestone walls sets the somber tone. The group of dark, cowled leather soldiers take off their hooded masks. A large orc leans against the stairs. This towering behemoth of an orc stands with his arms crossed, posture relaxed but weary, his skin a deep greenish gray, the scars of countless battles visible across his broad shoulders and large muscular arms. A tattoo of a Roman numeral, dwarven numeral 4, is boldly inked on the corner of his forehead, snaking around the curve of his eyebrow. His eyes narrow as he observes the group, his jaw clenched tightly as though he's just waiting for someone to snap. And then sitting on a pile of rubble, analyzing each one of you now, a young human male, no older than Sovah, stands slightly apart from the rest of the group. Tan olive complexion, has medium curly dark brown hair that falls into loose waves swept back behind the ears. His most striking feature is the automaton prosthetics that replace his legs, sleek and functional. His expression and demeanor is a quiet one of curiosity and careful calculation. His body language is methodical as he takes in the surroundings. He looks between the members of the group, though his gaze lingers longest on Sovah. Then standing in the center of the room, arms crossed, his eyes sharp, as though trying to dissect everything that had just happened, is a man in his mid-40s, white skin, black hair streaked with silver, his beard neatly trimmed but carrying a certain roughness, as though he's more accustomed to dirt and grit than the comforts of grooming. Black leather armor is tight-fitting but not restrictive, adorned with half-dozen soul coins embedded in the fabric. The coins gleam faintly in the low light, each one etched with runes and depictions of devil's faces that pulse with a strange, eerie magic. He watches Vivian and the others with quiet scrutiny as he steps forward and speaks up. Right. So, let's start from the beginning. Who are you, and how did you manage to get here?
Well, to be honest, don't think all of us quite rightly know how we got specifically here.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a second. Everybody, that was so fucking hot for like 4 minutes straight.
Sorry for the long monologue. He looks at Evindal, who speaks up before anyone else. You don't know how you got here.
Last thing I remember is I was a part of a scouting mission, and then I woke up in a vat. We broke out, we made it here.
Roll a persuasion check for me.
That's a 12.
He looks at you, Evindal. You guys are more in the throes after combat, this fatigue that kind of sets in. You more emotionally, Vivian and Sovah.
I would definitely say Vivian's not answering these people. She's probably sitting down on a rock or some debris nearby or whatever. She's holding the rest of Sovearis' belongings just in her arms.
Sovah would be sitting up against the wall. I believe the last thing I was doing was connecting with the longsword that I found.
But he looks at you, Evindal, as you try to convince you don't remember much. He takes a beat, stares at you, analyzing every feature of your face. Ghost, have them cured up and heal them.
I made food. It's on the table.
Just around the corner is a table. A stone slab, actually. Spongeless, flavorless, bread-like food.
Behold, bread and hardtack. It'll suffice.
Indeed it will.
Sovah would stand up and he'll have the longsword in his hand, but will dismiss it and it'll kind of like poof away and sort of like a blue-purple smoke. Right, I could really use something to eat right about now. It's been a couple days, so I'll be more apt to talk after I get a little bit something in my belly. And I will go over and partake of the sponge cake.
There is 45 pounds of food on the table.
I could probably eat a quarter of it.
You can all rest up. No more than an hour. We're leaving as soon as we can.
Leaving? Leaving where?
Here, there's a gigantic tower,
That's been walking through Narzkuldra.
and now it suddenly stopped.
We're the ones who caused it to stop. With some minor repairs, we could probably move it,
We've not
fortify
figured out a damn thing about it yet. What, are we leaving it?
Yeah, we're leaving it. My survival instincts are screaming at me, and right now they're saying this is a large tower that's no longer moving, that was moving. Whatever's flying around out there is going to see this and report back, and then come with more, especially if you're dealing with the Court of Stars.
Vivian's gonna walk over to Evindal. We cannot leave until we figure out what the hell we were in.
And no, keep your emotions in check. There's no time to freak out. Clearly this man is a man of authority. We need to treat him as such. Otherwise we're no better off of a situation.
Ugh. Vivian is gonna kind of push off Evindal and storm away towards the food.
Do y'all have like any salt or anything? This is, I mean, I'm getting it down, but like water would also be nice.
Damn it, Sovah.
The orc that is also eating food next to you grunts it. No,
Right.
eat.
No, yeah, I'm pretty. Who had the remote last? I believe Vivian was the one that was carrying it last, correct?
Yeah, it would have been actually Sovearis who had it. He had found it, and then he got murdered.
I just have like his like pack type, but it's like a
Satchel.
like belt type thing though, because he's an assassin.
Well, we didn't have any of that. He had a bag of he had a pouch that he found.
And with disintegrate, isn't like anything non-magical.
It wasn't
would've-
disintegrate.
Oh, it wasn't.
His body's still there. He just got his torso
Oh.
fucking blown off.
He got hollow purpled.
Yeah.
Vivian, holding all of Soveris's things and such, holds a dismantled, broken remote. It is not unrepairable. It is just heavily damaged.
Is that the remote? The broken thing there?
That was the remote.
May I?
Vivian's gonna like look kind of like grossed out at this thing that's next to her. Not like
No,
not more than normal.
I understand.
but
I get that a
It's
lot,
like-
believe me.
Okay.
I want to cast Mending on it.
Yeah, go ahead. Cast mending on it. What does your mending look like?
Hold it with both hands and just kind of like bring it close to my chest, and there's just a little like quick flash. Like an easy bake oven. I make shrinky dinks.
Because it is a magical device that does require runes to also be fixed and everything, I would like you to roll me a d20 ability check of your spellcasting modifier.
Uh-oh.
Damn you and your D20s.
That's gonna be a 15.
15. You bring the remote to your chest as that warmth kind of starts to emanate out of it, that fire. Magic sheens over the device as it starts to repair itself, the screws, the cracks starting to mend and be adjusted into a remote that is now there. It's in one piece.
There you go.
Vivian's going to take it from him and immediately hand it to Evindal, expectantly.
Does it look like it would actually function, or does it just look outwardly like fixed?
Your choice of investigation or arcane.
Punch the button, brother.
Commander, may I have a look around the tower?
You already seen Bentley pull the ranger aside as he nods upwards. Cast is going up the stairs and already doing so. He looks at you as you ask the question. Of course. Start with the upstairs.
Hold on a minute. I won't have you just protruding through our stuff. I'm going
Protruding.
with him.
It's not. our stuff.
I didn't see your name written on the tower, to be fair.
I didn't see you traveling in the tower. I didn't see you come out of a giant test tube in the tower. It's
Vivian.
my tower.
Okay, let them do the thing. They're just gonna find out what we already done.
Truth be told, ma'am, that seems like this is your prison.
Well, until I figure out exactly what it was, it's mine.
Well, I intend to help you find out what it is.
Great, then we're going.
We have already mapped it out. I could just show you to the locations that we're aware of.
Also, I got an 11 on that Arcana check.
11 on the Arcana check.
Stupid low, roll a 3.
The best way to note if it works is if you press a button.
I will hold off on that.
Okay. But it seems to be intact, more or less, from what you gather. Bentley actually starts to walk upstairs and says to you guys, as Vivian is kind of huffing and puffing, like, don't go through my tower. She says, do whatever you want.
That's kind of hot.
You two are cut from the same cloth, Vivian.
As he goes up to the first platform and takes a left into what would have been the living quarters.
I'm gonna grab like a fistful of the bread and kind of like square up with the orc, and kind of like in more of a respectful kind of way, not in a.
Are we dressed by this point?
I mean, I got pants on.
Yes.
So
Yes, you are dressed in.
Because I remember we did. I'm pretty sure we did that combat naked.
No, I got pants on.
You're wearing the prisoner's garb in Skyrim, essentially, like when you.
You are wearing curtains. I'll square up with the orc and just kind of like a respectful kind of acknowledgement, and then just kind of follow behind, keeping an eye on everything.
He sees you approach him and do what you just said that you did. And he's eating like a bowl of bread, and he kind of like turns his shoulder a little bit to you.
So I will just kind of like follow in behind everybody, slowly making my way to the, I think it was on the 6th floor. It was the cultivation floor where we found the door that we couldn't open. So I'm just kind of following along until we get to that point.
So there is the mid-40 man, George Clooney, is on the first level. The robot leg ranger, he went upstairs even further to like the 7th floor. And then the orc is going to stay on base level by the entrance. So it's up to you guys to what you want to do for your short rest here. Ghost, what floor are you going to?
I will go to the lab and R&D.
So Vivian definitely wants to like be walking first, but every time we turn a corner, she's gonna let Ghost go first still, and then be like, I know where we're going, and walk in front of him again.
Like a cat. Evindal will be following Mr. Grumpy Pants.
We'll do you first since you're on the first floor. Bentley goes into living arrangement area as he kind of investigates the space. You see him kind of just start knocking over different furniture and looking around the space to see what's going on. He's checking these small little closet ways as well. And he notices like as things that you didn't even get a chance to notice because you were exhausted and just came out of everything that you happened to do. He's coming in with fresh eyes. As he opens a water closet, he sees here in the space is a functioning shower that...
Well, that would have been lovely.
As he presses these switches on the door, water starts to come out of like this ritual rune on a faucet head where the water comes out warm.
I know you're just turning on a shower, but it might be a good idea to take a little more precaution. This is a castle that might be...
How long have you been here?
Captured here? I'm not really sure. Awake?
The date is currently... He gives a date, and it has been 6 months from the last time that you remember or recall.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So, you are in some type of a coma?
I think they had us under some sort of spell. We were in some... Do we remember, like, the reality we were in?
You remember everything that happened in this reality.
Okay.
And I will also state for everyone here who was in the vats, you have this whole entire life of being with Evindal, Sovah, Vivian, and Sovearis. You guys lived as a mercenary company, more or less, that kind of took these odd jobs here and there. You had moments where you guys were just like enjoying life. None of the backstory that we've developed as player characters, but everything that was in this fabricated space. It's almost like you lived a double life, and now you have these memories and these emotions and feelings still. But now you're also grasped with the reality of what life is now.
Right. They appeared they had us under a spell, some other alternate reality where they completely replaced our memories, our lives, everything we knew about ourselves. And when we broke free, we were finally able to take back our lives, so to speak, and free this castle of their possession.
He gets in your face. as he starts to examine you, his height looming over yours, as he looks down at your right arm and he starts to investigate this area. He places a hand on you. Don't move, as he examines the wound that you had. And what you remember and what you recall from that is that it was just a nub. However, there is an itching thing that now calls to your attention. This budding purple flower now starts to sprout from the wound and where it was at. Those scars are kind of laced and stitched with the vines and the roots of the flower itself as it goes even further into your...
And this would be something I'm just noticing as he's looking at my arm too?
You're just noticing, yes. What's this?
I honestly could not tell you.
As you see his eyes flash over with a golden hue light as a spell is being cast in this moment. He looks at it and he immediately clutches your tunic and pulls you in closer. What do you know about this?
I don't know a damn thing.
I need you to make a charisma saving throw real quick.
You're a wizard. You're great at those.
Yeah. Shut up, Michael. You're gonna jinx me.
13. Okay. As you're speaking out loud, it just feels natural to tell the truth. You are under this space as the warmth kind of like, you feel trusting to him that you can let him know all these things. He asks you about it, and you respond. His grip lightens. Apologies,
I understand, believe me.
The others, what do you know of them? The Eladrin.
Speaking of Vivian.
Yes.
Well, she's rather temperamental, but powerful sorcerer nonetheless. I believe, I don't know much about her besides my time in the alternate reality. She seems strong-willed and powerful, if not a little sassy.
And the other one, missing his arm.
Sovah. Strong as a cow and eats like one too. That's quite honestly all I know. Again, I was in a reality with them, but any memories from that reality I assume is false.
In this reality, what were they like?
I mean, I don't know. We hunted monsters, carried out our own lives.
And do you feel influenced by any type of fiendish magic? I'm talking anything. No violent outbursts.
Not as far as I've seen, no.
No changes in your psyche.
Again, not that I've noticed, no.
Right. He looks over at the shower that is now still pouring. I'm gonna do some more digging around.
Do you need any help? I've mapped out the tower, if you're looking for anything specific. I know where the damages are that's preventing the tower from moving.
Presents a hand up. No, I'm gonna keep you at arm's distance for now. Listen, I don't know you, and this is Narzkuldra. I didn't last long here by being trusting.
That's fair, but I think I'm only gonna be helpful.
You wanna be helpful? Go talk to Cast. He leaves the room.
Can I meet him at the door? I've been following behind, and I like, as he tries to step through the door, I'll interpose.
In the way?
Yeah.
You. Move.
I find it a little...
Sovah, just let him do his job.
I understand he's doing his job. I do find it a little strange he's worried about infernal magics on us, and I'll flick one of the coins on his tunic.
The moment you touch him, he puts you into a type of wrist lock that stops you from touching him. My methods are my own. I get people home safe, and if you want to go home safe, you're not going to ask me questions. You're simply going to move. As he moves you out the way, you now notice as he moves you out the way, the orc is standing directly behind you, axe at the ready, and fall in line.
I'm a one-armed man in cloth pants. While I understand the intimidation factor I pose, I just like to keep information out in the open. And I'll point to the coins again now that my arm's released. Be careful of those as well. We may have been in infernal tubes, but those aren't the most holy of things they are either. And I'll kind of stare at the orc and kind of give him a smirk.
You smirk at the orc and you see that Bentley is now up the stairs.
Evindal's just rubbing his brow.
I'll walk past the orc and I'll be like, that's a good axe. And I'll keep walking up the stairs behind Bentley.
Sovah's so hot.
You just hear it quietly just sheath back into his little holster.
I will go find Vivian, because I'm gonna honestly tell her that home dude is super interested.
We'll jump to Ghost and Vivian. Ghost, you cut through this corridor and you can see a few of the rubble soldiers as well as faint traces of sulfur and dark mush ichor That is the decaying corpses of imps and fiends. And then, of course, ahead, you see the tubes in which they talked about being in earlier. Broken glass in the center of the room. And on this gallery, catwalk that kind of lines the room are these other tubes far end of the wall. 4 of them. 2 unbroken, other 2 broken. With the light flickering and some of the water still on the ground yet to be evaporated. And of course, a operating table that is just slightly to the right with corpses and piles of bodies nearby, looking as if they've been experimented on and such.
Those corpses, can I look at them and determine exactly what the cause of death was?
Roll a medicine check. You see Ghost as he starts to approach the bodies of these corpses in the far right corner of the room. There are also different types of glass panels that have these flickering lights, some cracked and broken. But as he's looking at these bodies, you got a what?
15 plus 8, so that's 23. Yeah.
23. The lacerations on the body, the way that the blood clots around the wounds and everything else tells you that these lacerations were administered when it was alive. However, you do not see what the cause of death would be outside of when you examine some of the brains, and some craniums are actually opened, where their brain is explored, and you see a lot of these protrusions in them, as if they've been prodded, and they had been stuck with needles and rods and such. There's even some that have a few of those rods and needles in some others, and there's various different types of bodies as you try to account, like what's the demographic that they were trying to do, and it looked like just random civilians, varying in their age, varying in what type of race they were. Some human half-elves, some dwarves, some halflings, some children, some elderly. And the table itself still houses one more body. This is just a human male. His cranium exposed with some of the prods that lead to wires that connect to some of these monitors that I was talking to Vivian about. And of course, there's just a bunch of debris and shrapnel from the glass of the other tubes that kind of destroyed a lot of the vicinity that is nearby.
The first time Vivian's been rather calm in this room instead of being emotionally unhinged by what's going on there. After watching Ghost examine these bodies and kind of just getting a sense of the air of what he's looking at, she's going to walk over to the body that's on the table still, and I'm going to pull out the remaining needles from the head.
As one is deeply large in the brainstem into that spine, and there's this sickening feeling of seeing this face at some point. Familiar, almost like a dream.
Vivian's definitely gonna pull out the last needle from the brainstem and kind of like brush over this man's face with some compassion. What did they do to them? What'd they do to us?
Did you have any wires or needles prodded into you whenever you escaped?
No. When I woke up, you have to understand that this alternative...
I'm not asking about what you experienced in there. I'm asking what you experienced after. Wires, needles, anything that's...
No.
Why did they keep you in a tube if they didn't do it?
How am I supposed to know?
Evindal comes around the corner alongside Bentley. He kind of looks around. You didn't hear him approach Vivian at all. It was only until Evindal comes around the corner that you see him finally in the space. As he looks over to you, Ghost, what'd you find?
Experimentation, wires, tapping into different parts of the brain, compiling something using magic. They had these 4 test tubes. Vivian, she says that nothing is different.
Bentley looks at Vivian as you brief him.
I'm still looking down at this dude's face.
That pile of corpses there was at one point on the table. They were cycling through. They needed them for something. But they needed bodies. And lots of them.
He still stares at Vivian. Ghost, I want you to do a psych evaluation on everyone stuck in these tubes.
All right. I'm sure you're aware that people don't typically like psych evaluations.
Yeah, Vivian's going to whip her head towards him and just kind of glare at Bentley.
And he's glaring back, unfazed, stone cold, as he looks at you. If they want to go home and be safe, they will listen.
It's all right. I'm a medical doctor.
I'm just gonna kind of put like a hand on Vivian, just kind of look around and be like, calm down.
I am qualified.
Start looking at us like that. Looking at us like we're crazy.
He's got a job to do.
Like we're animals.
Think where we are, Vivian. He's just trying to stay alive.
Again, I am a doctor. I am not a random person doing psych events.
Of course.
As you guys are having this conversation, Bentley's gone. Again, Sovah comes around the corner to see everyone.
Vivian's now going to turn to Ghost. Who the hell is that guy?
Commander Bentley. Sends out scout parties, helps survivors. He's very familiar with this area.
And who stuck a stick up his ass?
I believe when the portals to Avernus opened, he lost many people, as did everyone else. Do you understand?
Everyone else. Vivian's walking away from Ghost now.
Evindal's gonna focus in on one of the younger corpses, gonna stare.
You stare at a face of a child and a flash of a memory from within. A girl holding her father's hands. They're walking down a cobblestone pathway to a fire festival. And then flashback.
I'll also point out that I was kind of in Bentley's way as he was trying to leave the room again. But not like directly in his way, just annoyingly in his way.
Sovah's still being an asshole, just so you know, Brady.
just like absent-mindedly, like, oh no, sorry, my bad, I'll move.
Just the
just squeezed right past you.
He rolls his eyes and huffs underneath his breath as he continues to keep going up the stairs.
So, in all this process, I'm definitely going over to Sovah. I'm going to brush past him the second that Ghost speaks.
Okay. And then, Evindal, I believe
I'm gonna be the cooperative member of the party here.
You're gonna do the psych eval?
Yeah, whenever Ghost is ready.
I'm keeping up with Vivian and Bentley.
Yeah, I'll let the conspiracy theorists stir up their trouble.
Vivian's going to look over at Sovah. You still have bread, Sovah?
Oh yeah, I still got a little bit.
She's going to, like, hold her hand out.
I'll break off a piece of this bread. I'll hand it to her. It looked really weird too, because I had to kind of like hold the bread up against my chest and like pull part of it off with my finger and my thumb, and then I hand you the bit of bread, and I have the majority of it still in my hand.
Thanks.
One arm.
No, thank you, Sovah.
Yeah, of course. I'll keep an eye on the big orc, but I'm trying to keep up with Bentley.
Yeah, she's going to step a few paces away with the bread and then turn and be like, I think with all this watching, Bentley could use some. Let's go find him.
He's right up. I'm following. He's on the stairs right there.
He's gone.
I missed him. I mean, I know where he's going. He's going up top.
She has an evident smirk on her face now, and she's going to grab the rest of the bread out of Sovah's arms, not aggressively, Sovah, just to hold it for him, link arms with him, and we're going to do a happy little faster pace towards the direction they last saw Bentley.
You two try not to piss everybody off, please.
Now, when have we ever done that? Let's go, Sovah.
There's only one way out of the tower when you get all the way up top. I know
Let's not do that again.
I could probably do it again. We'd be fine.
No, you can stay away from heights, sweetheart.
Okay.
You guys all start to go upstairs. Ghost, you get the feeling that like maybe the laboratory is not the best spot.
Yeah, I was thinking either the library or the living quarters to find a place to lay down.
You mean the room full of corpses isn't the best place to do a mental evaluation?
Corpses and trauma that we just experienced?
Yeah, no, I would either the library or the like living quarters to find a place to like sit comfortably.
Oh yeah.
Either one.
You guys managed to all kind of reconvene. Sovah, as you were passing the hallway on the left, getting closer to the 6th floor, I believe, for the cultivation room with the locked door, that curiosity gnaws at the back of your head as everyone starts to continue to keep walking up forward. There is a yearning to want to get behind the door.
No, you're right. I do want through that door, but I don't have the remote anymore. Does it look like it's still got the runes of protection on it?
Yep. Ever so slightly shimmering.
Did we ever just try the handle?
No, you did not try the handle.
I'm going to just do that.
Okay. You try the handle.
I'm going to walk up and I'm going to like jiggle the handle. Maybe it's a push. I'll push forward.
It pushes open.
Oh shit.
No, I'm kidding. I'm fucking you. No.
Oh shit, that was the password.
It stays unbudging. It's locked. Go ahead and roll Arcana or Investigation. Your choice.
I got a +1 either way. That'd be a 14.
Magic itself doesn't allow slight movement of some of the...
The door wouldn't naturally have like a little bit of give.
Like a shift or a move.
This has got nothing.
Right. This doesn't. It's immovable.
Does it feel like I'm holding stone or I'm touching some sort of barrier?
With 14, you feel like you're touching barrier, and it's really weird. It's not like other types of barriers, like your shield, for example. It doesn't feel like it would stop a momentum. It just won't budge, magic-wise. And it's weird. Super weird.
I'll turn around back to seeing Vivian, like, why did you want to... Wait, Vivian, did you have the remote? Who has the remote? Oh,
I don't have that thing. I think we gave it to that doctor, man, and then Evindal was fiddling around with it again.
All right, fair enough. Well, we'll talk about that later. I'm fine.
I love that me and Sovah are just promenading around.
I feel like it's going to be a common theme, and I am here for it.
I love it.
Can all three of you, my VAT characters, VAT babies, can you go ahead and roll me a history check, please?
Okay.
History, 12.
I also got a 12.
13.
Oh.
Ooh.
Vivian, you remember just as much as they do, but you also remember you left the oven on.
Yeah. Funny. Vivian has never cooked, darling. She's never cooked.
There's something that you guys feel like you're forgetting, and with the excitement of everything in the new group here that is exploring the space, Vivian's feeling of territory, Sovah, your feeling of what's behind the door, and Evindal, the feeling of that little girl that you saw. Everything is preoccupying your mind, and you feel like you're forgetting something.
Do we have, like, our memories back?
Yes, you do have your memories back.
So I remember my past.
Everyone remembers their past.
But we wouldn't know each other's actual past.
Right.
We would just have the fake past.
The last 6 to 8 months, however, are a little bit more murky. As almost like if something had deliberately erased how you got here. You guys get up to the 7th room. You find the hallway. There's a right to the library as you enter in, and you can see Bentley and Cast are talking to each other. They are whispering something as you guys come around the corner. We don't have the resources right now. I just have that feeling. And Cast is arguing with him. It's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. If we break this protocol, and then you guys walk in, they both look at you, and they look back at each other. No arguments. I just have a feeling. Yes, sir.
Evindal's gonna kind of peel off and wait for a moment where Cast is a little separate from Bentley and try to talk to him.
Callahan starts to go towards other bookshelves as he starts to pull off different books and start to pore over them quickly and kind of just like discardingly, just like haphazardly, just like whatever.
Oh, that irks Evindal so much, but he doesn't do anything about it.
Please roll me a wisdom saving throw, Evindal.
I was actually going to just drop Vivian's arm and just walk towards Cast.
I haven't rolled above a double digit yet.
Whoa, bad D20 rolls be upon you.
Take mine.
Vivian is going to grab Sovah's arm and like pull herself to him in her attempt at stopping him because she cannot pull him to her. And she's going to be like, hold on, let's give it a second. We need to be smart about this. I don't know what their problem is with us, but I want to find out before we deal with them accordingly.
I'm judging by the attire and the demeanor that these guys scout out into Narzkuldra, kind of like myself. So I kind of understand the apprehension, especially when there's humanoids around. More importantly, the Cast fella's got some legs that look familiar in a different kind of way. I don't know how that sounds, but I just kind of wanted
Your
to...
business is your own, darling. You would just, you know what, have fun with that. Vivian's going to turn around and be a little flustered and walk away.
We don't kick shame.
She wasn't. She just was a little stunned.
And I'll approach Cast.
Before that, Evindal, there's a moment when you see Bentley, he's pulling off tomes and books and scrolls as he's haphazardly just kind of going through them and throwing them about.
I would say this would pull me away from going over to Cast and to like anything he's like throwing onto the ground, I'm going to like pick up and like neatly stack back together.
Evindal's passive-aggressively stacking books.
I am.
Did irritation at first because it's just disrespect. As a former librarian, it is disrespect on books that hold so much knowledge. But then there's a level of each one that drops now is almost like a personal attack to you. As Ghost, you can start to see that he's visibly getting more and more upset. A vein that kind of just like pops in the corner of his forehead, an anger. There's a sensation of wanting to hurt him.
Sir, I understand you're trying to get information, but books really don't hurt people, so you've just handled them a little more delicately.
Continues to keep pulling off one more book after the other.
They provide more information that way,
so they're not harmed or damaged. Information it's better to have than...
You don't understand. We don't have enough time to be worrying about how to place books. This isn't a library.
Oh, but
This
we
is
got
a
enough
prison.
time for you to
As he
walk around
pulls off
all the
another
damn
book.
castle and inspect
Commander.
every fucking corner.
Please.
There's a moment where Ghost, as Evindal was slightly starting to move his fingers rhythmically to a almost spell-like attack until you speak up. As he looks down at you, Evindal, he looks back at Ghost. In the situation, Sovah, in the distance, you can feel Evindal's anger kind of starting to writhe within yourself as well. This anger that is starting to fuel in the back of your spine, that anger that kind of just burns the chest a little bit more as you are about to approach cast, as well as your head looks towards Vivian. Your emotion is that of joy. Feels like command. Feels like oneness. And then it starts to sink in.
Vivian's gonna hone in on that immediately from her frazzled state of walking away over to some chair or couch or something away from Sovah. She's honing in immediately on this feeling and is completely directed at Bentley. And she's gonna just start gravitating towards the situation.
Do I notice anything about the roots on his arm?
I mean, I'm wearing a curtain, so it's probably not hard to see.
I've got some like high water linen pants right now, so
I've definitely fashioned mine to be like more of a boho thing than just a straight curtain, but here we are.
There's nothing really different. You recall a time where you've seen an injury similar to this of Sovearis, who had something of the sort. And with Sovearis, when you had seen his, it was only after gotten his wound. With theirs, it is a little bit longer, and there's something that kind of starts to pulse this. Like magic is being pulsed almost like blood through veins.
But what I do notice is it is similar to Evindal, if I may. Commander, you told me to do psych evals. I would appreciate it if you would leave the room. 1, so I can have patient discretion, and 2, because you are not the easiest to get along with, if I may be blunt.
Boing.
Try not to fuck with any more books, please.
He throws one as he leaves.
Vivian is 100% just like almost entranced by like this feeling, and she's just kind of like watching him, not with any malice or anything towards that, but almost like entranced by whatever's radiating.
I'm gonna walk over and grab that book he threw and stack it neatly on the table.
Thank you.
By the way, any of these books look like something Evindal would like to read?
Oh, Evindal.
Roll investigation.
Finally. 18 plus 8.
There's one scholarly book that is labeled My Accounts Over Time and Space, and it has the initials TC. And because you rolled so high, there's one more. Before you had picked up the book of Hypnomancer's Guide to Hypnomancy, there are some loose papers that are kind of collected into a small bind of strand that's in the corner. And it looks like journal notes. Blackthorn's notes on purple flower.
where's the orc in this situation?
Just chilling on the doorway frame, arms crossed, leaning.
And Cast?
Cast had watched that whole scene kind of unfurl, and he had slightly moved his light crossbow from his back to slinging it over his shoulder as it's bound down by the hip a little bit more as he continues to pour over a few of his own belongings out of a pack on a table nearby. As he's pulling out some gadgets and gears, he's pulling out a scroll and he's getting a stone and he's trying to like get this situation ready. You're approaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to slink over on the other side simultaneously.
As he like looks up at you guys. Hi.
I will also walk up shortly after.
So does the orc.
Understandable.
I don't think we've met. I'm Vivian.
Hi, Vivian. I'm Cast.
So how long have you been traveling with that Bentley fella?
I don't mean to be rude, but I kind of have to get this done.
What you working on?
Trying to radio back the Last Bastion. I let them know that we are going to be bringing you guys along with us. However...
Radio back, are you trying to meet someone specific?
Are you familiar with Sergeant Gutierrez?
I don't know. Am I?
You are not familiar with Sergeant Gutierrez.
While they're engaging with Cast, I'm gonna like squat beside him and look for a familiar piece on one of his prosthetics.
Sovah, that's rather rude.
I mean, you're not wrong. As I flick a emblazoned lavender sprig on his leg.
Evindal will immediately turn around and walk away.
Vivian's gonna take her fingernail and like trace it across like his shoulder and be like, "This is nice."
Vivian, you're being weird.
Did you make this yourself?
Sovah, you squat next to him as you start to investigate his legs. Immediately familiarized with this work. However, it looks sleeker and even slimmer than some of the designs that you recall. However, as you get close, he backs up from you and you feel the orc's presence behind you once again as he places a hand on you.
Trouble.
As Cass is like, no, it's okay. It's okay, Phaleon. It's fine. He's examining you with his own eyes. Are you?
I'll stand up as the orc is there. I give him a smirk and be like, I get being in trouble a lot. And I'll turn back.
Personal space.
You're right. As you bear down on me, but you're right. I'll turn back to Cast, and you're right. I am Sovah, and I recognize that handiwork. It looks a little more finished than the last time I saw it, though.
A wave of relief to see you, and then there's this wave of, like, somber. Yeah, you've been really hard at work. More so, since you left. So now it's just my job to get you back home.
I'll turn to Phaleon and, all right, now don't jump. And I will produce the axe and set it onto the table.
He jumps.
Fair enough.
And pulls out his axe too.
How do you do that?
Little trick I picked up when I was like 7. I'll gesture to the purple ribbon that is around the haft of the axe. I'm well aware, and I refuse to die till I find my way back there. I know I come off as abrasive, but I am willing to work with y'all, and I am aware of y'all's presence. That's all I really want to say, and I'll dismiss the axe.
He jumps again once more. Oh, no!
Well, this has been fun, guys. Just gonna walk away.
Whenever that whole situation started, Evindal turned around and he walked back over to Ghost.
So, how's this evaluation going to go?
Well, so far, it's not going good. You all are dysfunctional. You seem to be harboring some intense grief, suppressed rage. At least 2 out of the 3 of you, from what I've gathered, have unprocessed rage issues. Vivian seems to display an inferiority complex.
Rather astute.
I'm a doctor. It is my job. And you care for books? I'm assuming something scholarly?
Yes, I was a teacher and librarian in my former life.
Do you have a formal education in arcane arts, or?
Yes, of course.
Where did you study?
Back when it was referred to as Andrakia, at the magical university there in Andrakia.
Okay. It seems that there's some trauma, obviously, from waking up in a vat.
I could have told you that.
That's the evident part. The not so evident part is that injury on your shoulder. That injury. I've seen that before.
I raised my nub to him.
Did you have that before you came to this tower?
Absolutely not.
Interesting. Vivian?
Yes.
Any abnormalities on your body?
Excuse me?
Something that wasn't there before you woke up in this tower?
No.
Don't lie to me.
Well, there is.
Mm-hmm. Something you've noticed visually.
I mean, I think it's kind of pretty, but it would be pretty clear on Vivian's.
Mm-hmm. It's completely on your sternum.
So yeah, Vivian's gonna like brush her hair out of the way and like it's dug between the things a little bit. Yep.
Evindal instinctively just like turns his head away and
Sovah.
covers his eyes.
Do you have anything similar?
I was watching Taylor work his stuff. I'll turn around and just kind of like with my one arm point to my shoulder.
Not good. Okay. I've seen something like that before. However, yours is slightly different. The one that I saw before siphoned magic. It looks like you all are still able to cast it. May I?
Yes, of course.
I want to do like a thorough examination of his shoulder.
Nature or medicine. Yep.
Vivian is immediately right next to Evindal. I'm staring down Ghost.
That's a
natural 20.
Plus 28.
28. You examine it a little bit further. The flower itself is very similar to the one that you have come across once before. It does illuminates a type of magic that you can just pick up on a beat. And there's a second where it's different. The flower, although it's an budding sensation, you can see that it kind of moved a little bit with the magic that he was about to cast earlier. And it seemed to flourish his magic. The most concerning thing about it, though, is how the thorns that kind of hide underneath the skin, at least the roots, there are times when it pulses with this light lavender magic, kind of like a light through skin almost, as if pulsing blood. That never happened with Sovearis. If anything, it just moved and it twitched. This one has been altered to some capacity.
So it's been altered in some capacity to almost like, in what way? Like ignite the like blood and using the weave?
And with a natural 20, it's really nice. However, you're not in the best of operating environments, as well as you've only had one that you've had before. But you can tell that this one, compared to Sovearis's back when you knew him, is different, and it's almost like it has been changed in the sense that like it has been activated, almost like when you charge a battery.
Mm.
If that makes sense?
Yeah. So Sovearis was working with almost like a dead battery, and these guys have like a charge battery.
That would be the conclusion to make, metaphorically speaking, that Sovearis's was pulling energy because it was dead, while his is charging him.
Okay. And then do I also have any knowledge about like the process of the flower from what Sovearis remembered from that?
Even Sovearis didn't have a lot of information on his outside of the fact that it was embedded into him by a devil.
There was something different about that devil, which he knows about.
Yes. And there have been rumors prior, especially in your guys' trek through Narzkuldra, that there are rumors of these creatures that have been able to slaughter hundreds of thousands within the Blood War on the material realm. And there's only one out of like hundreds. They're rare to come across, but they're terrifying too as well. And most people who account from them have barely survived to even give a report on something like that. Sovearis was the only one who really managed to survive something like that.
The one that I've seen seems to have been, I don't know, the proper way, a budling, a seed. It wasn't fully fleshed. And this is different. This is active. It seems to be enhancing your magic in some way using infernal magics.
Is it a form of curse or a contract?
It's definitely not a contract, but it's kind of like a curse, but not a curse. Meaning a spell that removes those would not affect that. It may slow the process, it may agitate it.
Live.
Yes, it is. It is alive. It is parasitic in nature. It is feeding on your connection to the weave. Magic through your veins. It feeds on that. And it also seems to draw on your emotions, affect them in some way. So I'd suggest that for all of you, try to take a moment to breathe before you act rashly, because you never know if this thing is trying to agitate you in some way, or if this is actually your own emotion. Not until you get a handle on it and get a proper assessment.
That is definitely concerning. Although considering where we are...
Have you all noticed anything odd or different or strange after getting that buddling put into your body? Have you all been able to do something that you have not done before? Have you all been able to, as your magic felt different, altered, stronger, weaker?
My magic's been fine.
I definitely did feel primal force igniting my power when we were fighting that assassin from the Court of Stars. But I didn't think anything of it at the moment.
I noticed during that fight, but I figured maybe that could be something that you all were used to.
Sure, we were fighting different. Our friend had just died.
He was my friend as well.
Bentley walks into the room quietly. Sovah notices him because he appears by his side as he talks to Cast, and he speaks. It's time to move now. Now. And he is in a hurry. We'll leave through the front, but we have to hurry. As you can start to hear now, guys, the sound of war horns in the distance. As he starts to pull everyone to the side, Phaleon and Cast in a hurry, puts his stuff back into his sack. Bentley, I wasn't able to finish anything. The protocol, what about the protocol? And he's like, we don't have time for protocol, it's time to move. As you can start to hear more war horns in the distance. Hear it because it's around the corner from the balcony. He's like, we're moving now, downstairs. As he starts to peer off left, you guys follow? Mm-hmm. Right.
First, Bentley, direction to Last Bastion. Give me a cardinal direction.
North.
Right. I will quickly move to Evindal. Remote. Now.
Remote? You need the remote. Why?
If we're leaving, I'm going to try it.
I just give it to him, I guess.
I will snatch the remote, and with my 40 movement speed, I will move as fast as I can, get within range of the door, press the button.
Hurriedly, Sovearis presses the button. No response.
Press the button on the side.
No response.
Press the button on the bottom.
No response.
All right.
It has been mended. The arcane on itself has been damaged. As you are pressing these buttons, you hear those horns a little bit louder as everyone's starting to mitigate and go out and move downstairs. Sovah, as you're about to turn over the lip to get to the stairs, you hear just the hallway behind you. Sovah. There is that feeling, that looming sense of him again. As you guys are starting to head down the stairs, Sovah, please make me a wisdom saving throw.
Kidoki. 15. Guessing the laugh was a no.
Damn it! You stupid bitch.
And
you guys were heading down, so I'm going to say like you're about 40 feet downwards.
In the tower, if I remember correctly, the hole, it's hollow all the way through.
Yeah, so we could yell up potentially.
And I'm at the very top.
You turn around, immediately drawn by that fury, that anger of 6 months here. Something calls you back.
Fuck.
The balcony. As you walk through the lip of the door, out to the railing side, you can see just beneath you. Does anyone want to go after Sovah?
Yeah, I'll turn around after a no response.
Yeah. After no response, we all turn around.
Bentley barks at you guys. Leave him. We're moving.
You're moving.
I'm going back.
Since when do we leave survivors, Commander? I'm going to turn around.
We'll say this, Sovah, you look over the edge and you can see battalions upon battalions of different themed armies as they start to march with their banners held high, their cladded armors in these dark leathers and metals. Imps are starting to fly in the horizon in droves. As you can see him now as he starts to march forward from one of the battalions as he gets close. Sovah. And you can see on an arm of his that has been cut off at the wrist, bones, gigantic thorns wrapped and enveloped in the wrist and the forearm as the flower now in a full bloom. You guys are now starting to come out and you can see the entire tower is being surrounded by armies of fiends and devils. As he presents his forearm and his flower, and you can feel this wave of malice kind of just direct towards you as it comes up in a hot wave, the feeling of anger and wrath as he looks at you. Sovah, connected now, Sovah. As his forearm starts to split open, these large, thick roots splitting open his forearm and leaving a space to allow bone and blood to drip down in an ichor as a large protruding bone starts to spiral into an arrow tip as he points his wrist towards you, and the sinew that was his muscle fibers starts to stretch taut.
I will try to back away from the edge.
A sonic boom as it goes. Yeah, you guys are there now. As you guys are rushing to see Sovah, as Sovah's kind of backing up a little bit, and you notice this sonic boom that immediately impacts the side of the balcony as rubble starts to fall down. Sovah, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I'm good at those.
Okay, I want to use the guiding radiance. Mm-hmm. Whenever you cast a spell of first level or higher, you can choose an ally within 30 feet. The ally gains glowing aura and advantage on their next saving throw.
You're on the observation deck. You're just coming past the door, so there's like a solid 50 feet ahead of you as you're like rushing to Sovah to try to get him back as he's kind of starting to step back.
I'm going to use a second level spell, Enhance Ability.
Okay.
So it's also going to have the added feature.
Yeah, who's getting enhanced ability?
So Sovah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm choosing to upgrade his wisdom. Yeah. We're gonna upgrade his wisdom.
Okay.
This motherfucker's stupid.
So with a advantage. Okay. And then her guiding light.
He does have advantage on this dexterity saving throw because of the guiding radius or whatever.
Yes, he does.
With my advantage, it comes out to a 15. 12 plus 3.
I'm so dumb.
No, it's my dexterity.
It doesn't matter. He got us in the situation. This is the second time we've been near death at the top of this tower in the last couple days because of this motherfucker.
Look, I couldn't control it. I got a plan. I always got a plan.
15. You take 28 points of damage.
All right.
From the rubble that's falling down and flying about. Some of that magic only briefly gets you before you, Vivian, now activating your flower. It starts to bloom, and you see this luminescent now ghost as everything in sequence of quick events. You catch the glow on her chest as there's a second where Sovah, Vivian, and Evindal's eyes kind of gleam with a lavender light color as she activates her flower. That's what you notice. That is all.
I am going to turn to the crew, moving as quick as possible. And if I can, I'm going right towards Vivian, and I'm going to try to scoop her with one arm and go back inside. All right, keep up.
Basically, from the moment we reached the doorway, I would not have gone on the balcony and ran back. I would have stopped right at the doorway. And if I can get 60 seconds, I wanted to cast Magic Circle.
Okay. Sovah, you will be coming up with Vivian. You rush past the door lip only to find Ghost is currently preparing a spell. Currently in your way at the moment. Just get past him, especially with Vivian on your shoulders. So you're just now behind him. Evindal, same thing, trying to get past him. As you guys are squeezing by, as Ghost, you finish up your magic circle, mark that spell slot down as you put that down on the ground.
Ghost kind of places his palm down on the ground in between the doorway, and like a white and yellow radiant heat just kind of like starts to burn and etch a rune into the ground. Very thin light screen just kind of like envelops in a cylinder.
As it burns upwards, rises up. There's a moment where you can start to hear the imps batting their wings as they come through.
So I can select one or more of the following types of creatures: Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiends, or Undead. Obviously I'm picking Fiends. I can pick all of them if I wanted, but Fiends for sure. The creatures cannot willingly enter the cylinder by non-magical means, and if they try to teleport or interplane or travel to do so, it must succeed on a charisma saving throw. Any creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets within the cylinder, and targets within the cylinder can't be possessed or gain the charmed or frightened condition from those creatures. Basically made a fucking wall.
Oh yeah, and you did. As these imps are now starting to fly, you can hear them batting against the way as you hear them screech and scream on the other side. You guys manage to run down the stairs. You get to the lip, the 500-foot drop from the top.
I'll look towards everybody. All right, all at once, and I'll look towards Vivian. Y'all trust me?
What are you doing? What
and
are you thinking?
I will put my back to the railing and then just tip off. Indicating the other two should
You
follow
cast
me.
Featherfall and...
Yes, I will. The other two presumably will follow me.
Are you telling me?
Yes. Yeah, I am.
You're perceptive enough to know what Featherfall spell is being done.
Okay, for sure.
I'm screaming.
You manage to fall all the way down to the bottom as in a soft land as you meet now Phaleon and Bentley, who are running down the door, closed right now, as Bentley opens one side of the door. Crossbow bolts start to fly into the door itself. He closes it once more, puts his back against the stone wall. Okay.
I'm gonna run up to the door and cast Arcane Lock on it.
Nice. Okay.
Fucking baller.
Okay.
So it will maybe magically locked, and I believe only me undoing the spell will open the door.
Or a knock spell, I believe.
Yeah, or not.
That's so cool. All right, that is so cool.
Big dick plays.
Yeah.
I will see those bolts and him shut that up. I will just run up, put my one hand on it, and just kind of think for a moment, and a giant clock will just appear on the door and just kind of just tick all through like the outer hand and then just stop at the 12 and just stay there. And just like lit in like a golden amber color.
Very nice. Okay. And now You hear just on the other side of the door a large creature banging against the wall. And in between each thud that gets closer and closer,
Sovah. Open the door, Sovah. We have unfinished business.
Hey guys, it's Michael. Thanks so much for listening to Five Sided Fables. If you enjoyed today's episode, the best way to support us is to like and follow the show on your favorite podcasting platform. It really does help us bring more of these fables to life. Until next time, thanks for being part of the journey.